All right, so get this. Are you ready to kind of peek into the future of military aviation? We're talking stealth efficiency and a whole new way of refueling in the air.
Wow, sounds exciting.
Today's deep dive, it's all about Casa Zero's Pathfinder. And trust me, this aircraft looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh, really?
We're dissecting a fascinating piece from Israel News.
Okay.
It's titled El Avión Pathfinder de Casa Zero estará listo para volar in 2027. And let me tell you, this isn't just some cool plane. It's a contender for the U.S. Air Force's next generation aerial refueling tanker, the NGAS. The competition is fierce. Think Boeing, Lockheed Martin. But Casa Zero is bringing a totally unique design to the table.
Okay, what is that?
A blended wing body. First flight is slated for September 2027.
Interesting.
Not that far off.
So what's really interesting here is that this isn't just about building a better tanker.
Right.
Pathfinder is what's called a subscale demonstrator, a smaller version they use to test the design and tech before building the full-scale aircraft. Think of it like a really sophisticated prototype.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And get this, the innovations tested on Pathfinder, they'll also shape the future of military transport planes.
So we could be looking at a total revolution.
Exactly.
And how the military moves troops and equipment. So imagine a plane where the wings kind of just melt into the body, no separate tail section, just a smooth, continuous surface.
I'm trying to picture it.
Like a giant flying stingray.
Oh, wow.
But how does this bizarre shape actually fly?
Well, remember NASA's X-48 project?
Yeah, I think so, vaguely.
Back in the day, they actually built and flew aircraft with blended wing bodies. They weren't just messing around. They collected a ton of data on how this shape performs in the real world. Turns out it's incredibly efficient.
Okay, how so?
You get maximum fuel storage because there's more space inside that smooth body, plus a smaller radar signature. It's practically invisible to radar.
Yeah, stealth is a huge deal these days.
In a combat zone, that's a game changer.
Wait, there's more. This design could even refuel multiple aircraft at the same time.
Seriously.
Picture this. A whole squadron swooping in for a quick fill-up, all while staying under the radar.
Wow.
That's some serious force multiplication.
That's incredible.
But what did the folks at NASA actually say about this radical design?
Well, Faye Collier, who headed up NASA's environmentally responsible aviation project called the Blended Wing Body, very quiet and efficient, and totally in line with their environmental goals.
Interesting.
Heather Maliska, the project manager for the X-48C, even pointed out how the data they collected with Boeing is shaping the future of aircraft design. So this isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea. It's backed by serious research and real-world testing.
So it sounds like Casa Zero is on the right track. But let's be real, they're up against giants like Boeing and Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, tough competition.
This NGAS competition is the big leagues of military contracts.
Yeah.
What makes them think they can pull this off?
Well, the article suggests that blended wing body designs are the front runners for the NGAS because they can operate so effectively in combat zones. And here's the kicker.
What that?
Boeing themselves are interested in developing tankers based on this type of design. Even if Casa Zero doesn't win the contract, their work could still reshape the entire industry.
Wow, that's wild. So even the competition is taking notes. Speaking of building this futuristic aircraft, who else is involved in this project? It can't just be Casa Zero going it alone, right?
Definitely not. They've got a whole team of subcontractors.
Oh, really? Like who?
Including Scaled Composites, part of Northrop Grumman, handling the large-scale construction. BAE Systems is providing the brains of the operation, the actuator control units, or ACUs.
Okay, what are those exactly?
These are essentially computer systems that control the aircraft's movements. EIE is also providing the active control sticks, which is how the pilots actually interface with those systems.
Okay, so we've got the brawn and the brains covered.
Yeah.
What about the cutting edge? Is there anything super high-tech involved in this project?
Absolutely. Casa Zero is using Siemens Accelerator Platform.
Never heard of it.
Which uses artificial intelligence to optimize the design and operation. AI-powered planes, that's some next-level stuff.
Wait a minute. The article mentions that Alaska Airlines is supporting Casa Zero's initiatives.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, what does a commercial airline have to do with a top-secret military project?
That's a good question, and it suggests there might be some crossover potential here. What works for military tankers could benefit commercial aviation, too.
Like what?
Imagine quieter, more fuel-efficient passenger planes, lower ticket prices, less noise pollution. Everyone wins.
Okay, color me intrigued. So this Pathfinder isn't just a cool plane. It could be a sneak peek into the future of aviation,
Exactly.
both military and commercial.
And with the first flight just a couple of years away, things are about to get really interesting.
Okay, so we've got this radical blended wing body, a team of experts, and a whole lot of potential. But how will this thing actually perform in the real world? And what kind of impact could it have on the future of aviation?
Those are the big questions, and we'll dive deeper into those in just a bit.
Welcome back. We're in the middle of our deep dive into CASA-0's Pathfinder, this futuristic aircraft that's making waves in the world of aviation.
Right.
We were just talking about how this thing could be a glimpse into the future, not just for military aircraft, but maybe even commercial flights too.
Yeah, what's fascinating is that the potential impact of this technology goes way beyond fuel efficiency and stealth.
Okay.
In what way?
Think about it. If you can build an aircraft this efficient and adaptable, what other applications could it have?
Okay, now you've really got me thinking. What else could you do with a blended wing body design besides, revolutionizing military operations and commercial aviation?
Well, imagine passenger planes that are so quiet they barely make a whisper as they take off and land.
Okay.
Think what that would mean for people living near airports. No more noise complaints.
Makes sense.
Plus, lower fuel costs could translate to cheaper tickets for everyone. We wouldn't want that. Quieter skies and cheaper flights. Sign me up.
But it's not just about passengers, right? We were talking earlier about how this design could also impact cargo planes.
Exactly. A blended wing body could mean more cargo space, making air freight even more efficient. Imagine the possibilities for global trade if we could move goods faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. Think about other fields that rely on long-range, fuel-efficient aircraft.
Like?
Scientific research, for example. What if we could use these planes for atmospheric studies or polar expeditions? We could be looking at a whole new era of exploration and discovery.
Whoa, it's like Pathfinder is cracking open a door to a whole new world of possibilities.
I know, right?
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This plane hasn't even flown yet. It's still in the early stages of development.
True, but the progress they've made is undeniable. And the fact that they have big names like Boeing and BAE Systems involved, along with an unexpected player like Alaska Airlines, shows that people are taking this technology very seriously.
It's like they've assembled a dream team of aviation experts, all betting on this radical new design. And with the first flight scheduled for 2027, it won't be long before we see if this thing can live up to the hype.
That first flight will be a pivotal moment, a real test of whether this concept can actually deliver on its promises. It'll be fascinating to watch the flight tests and see what challenges they encounter and how they overcome them.
I'm already marking my calendar for 2027. But going back to the article for a second, it mentions that Pathfinder is being developed as part of the U.S. Air Force's NGAS program.
Right.
That's all about building the next generation of aerial refueling tankers. Right? But we've been talking about all these other potential uses for this technology. So is Pathfinder just a tanker, or is it something more?
That's a great question, and it highlights the real beauty of this design, its versatility. While the main focus right now is on refueling the tech they're developing, for Pathfinder could be adapted to all sorts of aircraft. Think of it like a platform, a foundation that you can build on and customize for different missions.
So it's like a Swiss Army knife of aircraft design. You can add different tools depending on the job you need to do.
Exactly. That's what makes this technology so exciting. It's not just about solving one specific problem. It's about creating a whole new generation of aircraft that are more efficient, more adaptable, and ultimately more capable.
Okay, so if this tech is as adaptable as you're saying, could it spell the end for traditional tanker designs? Are we witnessing the dawn of a new era in military aviation?
It's definitely possible. The advantages of a blended wing body are pretty clear. As this technology develops and matures, it's going to become more and more appealing to military planners. But let's not forget, change doesn't happen overnight, especially in the military. Reliability and proven performance are everything.
Right, they don't just toss out the old playbook for a shiny new toy.
Exactly. So while we may not see traditional tankers vanish overnight, Pathfinder is definitely a sign of things to come. It represents a shift in thinking a move toward a more flexible and effective future for aviation.
Okay, so we've talked about how Pathfinder could change the game for commercial aviation and military operations. But what about the bigger picture? How might a technology like this impact global affairs, international relations, that sort of thing?
That's where things get really interesting. Technological advancements never happen in a vacuum. They always have ripple effects on the world stage.
So how could Pathfinder's success shift the balance of power, so to speak? Could it give the U.S. a major advantage?
Imagine this, the U.S. Air Force with a fleet of super efficient, practically invisible tankers. That would extend the range and endurance of their aircraft, giving them a massive strategic advantage in any potential conflict. The ability to refuel in midair while staying under the radar is a game changer in terms of projecting power around the globe.
I can see how that would make other countries nervous. Are we talking about a potential arms race here? Will other countries scramble to develop their own versions of this technology?
It's almost inevitable. If Pathfinder proves successful, it's going to set off a wave of innovation as other nations try to catch up. And that kind of competition can actually be a good thing. It often leads to even more breakthroughs and advancements.
So in a way, Pathfinder could accelerate the pace of technological development across the entire aviation industry.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to understand the full scope of this technology, not just the immediate impacts, but the long-term consequences as well. We're not just talking about a single aircraft, we're talking about a potential paradigm shift in the way we think about aviation.
We're talking about the future of flight. And as we get closer to Pathfinder's first flight in 2027, that future is becoming clearer and clearer. But with all this talk about potential and possibilities, there have to be some challenges along the way, right? I mean, building a plane like this can't be easy.
You're absolutely right. Every technological breakthrough comes with its own set of hurdles, and Pathfinder is no exception.
We're back for the final leg of our deep dive into Casa Zero's Pathfinder, this futuristic aircraft that's poised to shake up the world of aviation.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing project.
We've talked about its revolutionary design, the potential impact across different industries, and even the geopolitical ripples it could create.
Right, it's a big deal.
But as with any groundbreaking innovation, there are bound to be some bumps in the road.
Oh, for sure. There are always challenges.
What kind of challenges do you think Pathfinder might face on its journey to the skies?
Well, the article highlights the sheer complexity of the blended wing body design.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As a major challenge.
Right.
Building an aircraft with this kind of shape requires incredibly precise engineering and advanced manufacturing techniques.
Right.
It's not just about slapping some wings onto a fuselage.
No, definitely not.
It's about ensuring structural integrity and aerodynamic efficiency in a completely new way.
So they're really pushing the limits
Yeah, they are.
of what's possible in aircraft construction.
Definitely.
It sounds like a recipe for some serious engineering headaches.
Absolutely, but that's where the power of collaboration comes in.
Okay, how so?
Remember that Casa Zero has assembled a team of top-notch experts,
Right, we talked about that.
including Scaled Composites,
Uh-huh.
known for their work on groundbreaking experimental aircraft.
Okay.
And they're using cutting-edge technology like Siemens' AI-powered platform to help them tackle these complex challenges.
It's like they've built a dream team
It is.
of aviation innovation. But even with the best minds in technology, there's always an element of risk.
Oh, absolutely.
What happens when they actually start testing this thing?
Oh, that's another hurdle they'll need to clear.
I imagine so.
The article mentions that Pathfinder will undergo rigorous testing,
Makes sense.
especially for its control capabilities and pressurization systems,
Okay.
particularly for high-altitude flights.
Hmm.
This is where unforeseen problems might pop up,
Right.
requiring tweaks to the design or even delaying the whole project.
So it's not all smooth sailing.
It rarely is.
Even with a revolutionary design and a team of experts,
Right.
there's still a lot that could go wrong.
That's the reality of any ambitious engineering project,
True.
especially in aviation where safety is paramount.
And speaking of safety,
Yeah.
there's another challenge they'll need to overcome: navigating the regulatory maze.
Oh, of course.
Introducing a radical new aircraft like this means dealing with a complex web of safety regulations and certifications.
Definitely.
Getting approval from aviation authorities can be a long and arduous process,
It can be a real headache.
especially when you're dealing with cutting-edge technology.
Yeah, for sure.
So even if Pathfinder passes all its technical tests with flying colors, it still has to get the stamp of approval from the folks who write the rules.
They do.
It's another layer of complexity in an already complicated endeavor.
It is.
It emphasizes the importance of collaboration,
Right.
not just among engineers and designers, but also between the industry and regulatory bodies.
Yeah.
Transparency, clear communication, and a commitment to safety standards are essential for a smooth path to certification.
Absolutely.
It's a good reminder that innovation isn't just about pushing technological boundaries.
Right.
It's also about navigating the realities of the world we live in.
Sure.
And speaking of reality,
Okay.
there's another challenge: we can't ignore the financial side of things.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Developing an aircraft like Pathfinder is a massive financial undertaking,
Absolutely.
even with support from the U.S. Air Force and their industry partners. KZ Zero needs to secure significant funding to see this project through.
It's not cheap.
They have to manage budgets carefully and demonstrate a return on investment,
Right.
especially for a project as ambitious and potentially risky as this one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we've got technical challenges, regulatory hurdles, and financial considerations.
Quite a list.
Quite the trifecta of obstacles for Pathfinder to overcome.
It's a lot to juggle, but remember, these challenges aren't insurmountable.
Okay.
With a skilled team, a collaborative spirit, and a good dose of perseverance.
Right.
KZ Zero has a real shot at making their vision a reality.
It's that human element, the drive to push boundaries and overcome obstacles, that makes this whole story so captivating.
I agree.
We're talking about a team of passionate individuals who are shaping the future of aviation, taking risks, and refusing to let challenges stand in their way.
It's inspiring.
And that's a story worth following.
It is.
As we look forward to Pathfinder's first flight in 2027,
Right.
it's important to remember that this is just the beginning of a much longer journey.
The journey has just begun.
A journey that could lead to quieter skies, more efficient travel, and a whole new era of aviation innovation.
It's exciting.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the technical nitty-gritty to the potential impact on the world stage.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
But one thing is clear. KZ Zero's Pathfinder is a fascinating example of human ingenuity and ambition taking flight.
It's a real testament to human innovation.
It's a powerful reminder that even in a world facing complex challenges, innovation and a collaborative spirit can light the way forward.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of aviation.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back again soon to explore another fascinating topic. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies and your minds open to the endless possibilities of human innovation.